Hi YouTube, it's Charles the Redneck Nerd coming at you with video number 9 technically, and this one's less about modding a knife than just showing you my grail knife that took me nearly 30 years before I could get it. Now, like anybody who grew up reading knife and gun magazines in the 1980s, there was one brand that stuck out, Cold Steel. And the knife I wanted for that entire time, I finally got back in 2018, 2019. And it was the Cold Steel Trailmaster in San Mai. VG1 steel on the outside, 420 on the two outsides, welded together, which I'm not sure you're going to be able to see it on this camera in this light. But you can see the 3 layers there, and you can also see the layers right down here. And of course, this is done with a convex grind. It has a 9.5-inch blade. The overall length is 14.5 inches, which means it has a 9-inch handle. And like all cold steels, it has a craton handle, which Cold Steel calls Cray-X. And for my hand, it was a bit small. So I did mod this slightly in taking padded Wilson tennis racket grip tape and gluing it to the handle, which I'm sure some of the Cold Steel fanboys will then leave screaming comments below. But this is not just a show knife to me. This is a knife I use sometimes. Granted, I don't use it heavy like I do my other knives, but I do use it. And let me tell you, the blade came sharp, and with just a little stropping, it has stayed very sharp. I have chopped up to 2-inch thick branches with this of maple, and I've also delimbed a few other trees and bushes around my yard. Now, it normally comes with a sheath. This is not the actual sheath, I don't think. I stuck one of my other knives in it, but this is the cheap polyester sheath, polyester, nylon, whatever you want to call it, type sheath it comes with. It's not a great sheath, but it was an upgrade from my Ontario SP5 survival buoy. And that's kind of sad and says something about the sheaths Ontario sends out with most of their knives. But I went on Amazon and found a Marbles Trailmaker sheath. Now, Marbles used to make a knife called the Trailmaker, which was basically identical to the Cold Steel Trailmaster. And this Trailmaster is one of the ones made in Japan. So I went and got this. The interesting thing about it was $20 on Amazon this past January. It has a plastic insert in it to help protect and maintain the leather shape. Shockingly, the retention strap, when you pop it, pretty much flops out of the way of the blade, even though technically it's on the wrong side. You want it on a knife with a handguard coming away from the blade. That way you don't risk cutting it and destroying your retention. But the Trailmaker fits perfectly in it, or the Trailmaster fits perfectly in this Trailmaker sheath. And once it snaps, there is no rattle, there is nothing. And this is actually a fairly well-made sheath. And for $20, it is an incredible upgrade over this. Just like this is an upgrade over the very flimsy Cordura sheaths that come with the Ontario knives. Now, people say cold steel are, some of the fanboys just go crazy. I really like cold steel. But, like any knife, it can be broken. Now, since this was my grail knife, of course, you have to give it a name. And I gave this knife the name Caliburn. It is a less common name for King Arthur's sword. And technically, in some of the history of King Arthur, there are two swords he is given. Caliburn is the one he pulls from the stone. Excalibur, after Caliburn breaks, is the one given to him by the Lady of the Lake, that upon his death, he tells his second in command to throw the sword back in the lake to her. So I went with Caliburn. I think it's a cool name for a cool knife. Tell me what you think down in the comments, and if you would, like this video. Shout outs today. This knife cost me around $270. That's about as much as I'm willing to spend on any knife. And I had wanted this knife for, like I said, 30 years. I'm kind of like Pistol Pete, who I'm giving a shout out to today. If I'm going to spend $300 or more, I'd just as soon buy a gun, whether it be a black powder handgun, or save a little more and buy a $700, $800 gun like a Springfield Armory XDM or a new SIG. Next shout out, Legion Tactical Cutlery, my buddy Gruggs. He's getting close to 1,000. If any of y'all haven't subscribed to him, please go over and subscribe to him. Of course, shout out to Choir Boys Cutlery and good old Scab, who got me started in this. And of course, shout out to Joe, Steel Forged in Fire Sword and Knife, who I think does some of the most gorgeous video work on TV, or rather on YouTube, while actually telling you how it is and giving you good knife reviews and showing you how the knives work. Blade Talk with Scab and Joe. Today is Work Tough Gear. So tonight, Scab will be going live sometime in the vicinity of 7 o'clock Central Time. Could be 30 minutes later, could be an hour later, but somewhere between 7 and 8 p.m. tonight, Central Standard Time, Scab will be going live. Not sure who he's going to have on yet, or at least I can't remember. Getting old. So please check him out. Like, subscribe, visit all those sites with the links down below. Y'all have a good day. This is the Redneck Nerd. Till I see you next time.